Hi, this is Carl again. This is part 7 of the discussion on language analysis, language learning methodology, and what I need to do is to keep this particular part very short, as I only have around 10 minutes or so. What I want to do is to talk briefly about my learning of Japanese and Polish, which I began in October 2009, having begun both languages pretty much simultaneously. Many people have asked me quite recently, why on earth have you started to learn yet another 2 modern foreign languages, despite the fact that you haven't even learned Italian to an advanced level yet? And I would agree with those people who say that, as I have a great deal more in Italian to do. But I think one of the reasons is, as before, I'm trying to test the limitations of my own ability to learn a new modern foreign language or modern foreign languages. Try to reanalyze and become conscious as far as possible about the approaches and the extent of the approaches which I use to become acquainted with the words and vocabulary and phrases which make up a new modern foreign language. But one of the other reasons why I chose to learn Japanese and Polish was, well, particularly Japanese, was that I recognised that Japanese, being a language spoken in the Far East, would have or would bear no similarity whatsoever to any of the languages which I studied previously, particularly the Latin-based languages, French, Spanish and Italian. And indeed this has been the case. Japanese is a language which is very easy to pronounce, but despite that the word order is much different from the languages which I've learnt previously. The verb is sent to the end of the sentence, the time phrase tends to be prioritised and placed as close to the start of the sentence as possible. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to learn Polish was because I thought it would have a great deal in common with German, and only later did I establish that that wasn't the case. Polish has a lot more in common with languages spoken in the Balkan area, and particularly with Russian, whereas a language such as Dutch has more in common with German than Polish does. But even so, the approaches which I used from the outset were, I realised the need to feel relaxed, not doubt myself, not doubt my ability to be able to learn new words from the language, although I did find it very difficult to get used to the word orders in both Polish and Japanese from the beginning, and especially during the first hour to 90 minutes of the Michel courses, which I'm currently using to start learning both Polish and Japanese. As I say, I started in October 2009, so I've been at both languages for a couple of months now. And I've just mentioned, I realised the need to be confident, not to doubt my ability to learn, not to get annoyed with myself over making particular mistakes. As I was learning both languages, I realised that words, the sounds of the words were easy to process, but I was unable to, this time, create as many imaginary visualized spellings of the words. As I say, what tends to happen to me is I hear the words spoken for the first time, and then I try to create a visual representation of the spelling of those words in my mind, whether the spelling is correct or not. But with Polish, it's not as easy to do as a result of some of the sounds which exist in Polish, whereas Japanese, which is a much easier language to pronounce, although it has its own writing system, I'm much more confident in trying to create that visual spelling on my mind. Where the Polish language is concerned, I have found that while there is little to do with German, that there are cognates such as situation, sytuacja, the adjective endings, the feminine adjective ending in Polish is identical to the Spanish feminine adjective ending. So it's rather bizarre that I've picked up on a few of these things. But as I say, I am trying to test the limitations of my own ability to learn. I'm finding that the more languages I do learn, the quicker I am at picking new words up and getting confidence with using new phrases. But it is a question of confidence, relaxation, and not doubting my own ability. So I'll just continue to learn and learn and hopefully get better.